2 years ago, I demoed this app on this very channel and it broke people's brains. Well, we are back with a new demo. It was my 2021 new app of the year. It is Uncat Meow. The sponsor of today's demo day, because every firm has the uncategorized transaction problem. Whether you're sending clients emails about what was that Costco transaction, sending them a spreadsheet every month and asking them to mark it up, or calling them. No, it was an Amazon purchase. Yeah, March 12th, $74.67, yeah. The good news is Uncat has built a deep solution to this problem that's easy to start with actually just one client. It doesn't require changing your whole practice management system or anything like that. Literally go and create a free trial, try it with one client, no credit card required. I wish more apps worked this way, frankly. And recently they've shipped a bunch of really cool stuff. Tease alert, auto matching receipts with transactions, custom requests. So you can ask the client about anything in the same Uncat workflow you already love. You're gonna like it. But first, I'll show you their approach to managing the uncategorized transaction problem and how you customize it client by client to have a little army of robots doing your bidding around the clock. Here's what it looks like for your clients. It is super straightforward. Clients are not gonna get spooked by this. They get a magic link via email, so no usernames or passwords to juggle. They just click through the link in the email, and it takes them to this simple screen where they can provide some clarity on any outstanding transactions. Got a few transactions here. I'm letting the client set the vendor or supplier, provide a description, suggest a category from the chart of accounts. Here they can message me or they can attach a receipt. Pretty straightforward, right? Steve won't find a way to screw that up. Wrong. Here he is telling me this Amazon purchase is a checking account, which is why it's important this now comes back to me for review. So over on the accountant side, this is what it looks like. I'm able to see all of my clients on a single screen and all of their open transactions sync in real time. Here's the one Steve just bungled. If I open this, I got a few more options down here if I want. Billable, tax, customer, class, location. I'll show you how you can actually turn all this stuff on and off. In my case, I just hit the category, fix that one, hit approve, and it'll push that classification straight back to the accounting file. Now, sidebar, you saw class and location here. If I want, I can also expose class or location to the client, which brings me to how wildly flexible Uncat is. Going back into a brand spanking new account, the one that I created a little earlier. This is the first thing you see. I'm gonna add a client, I'll connect it to QuickBooks. You log into QuickBooks, you pick the client from the dropdown. You know what this looks like by now. Say connect. Check out how flexible this is. These are all the settings that I can tailor differently for every single client if I want. First is the accounts that I want Uncat to pull from. From the client's chart of accounts, any transactions that hit those accounts will be pulled into Uncat. But down here, I can also pull transactions from any account that are missing specific fields like class, location, customer, vendor, even attachments. I can scroll down to notifications. I probably don't want the client to get notified like the moment anything hits those unclassified accounts. What most people do here is weekly. I can also do daily or monthly if I wanted, and then I'll select the day of the week. You can also control when you're going to get notified about the client making updates there. And something actually really powerful to think about here, on the ledger side, in the accounting system, I can create bank rules that automatically push new transactions from the bank feed directly into uncategorized accounts, the ones that Uncat is watching. So for example, I create a rule that pushes all Amazon purchases to uncategorized expense. As the bank feed pushes those transactions in every day, the bank rule then pushes them to uncategorized. The client is notified to provide details to me without me ever even logging into the accounting file. They think I'm like doing the accounting around the clock. I'm not. But just think about how much work that could be doing across all of your clients. Every single bookkeeping file, right? Okay, now, that transaction view, that table we just saw, we can actually customize which fields show up in your accountant view and which fields are viewable and editable in your client's view. Again, this is something I would do differently engagement by engagement. By default, Uncat doesn't let your clients select an account for transactions like we just saw. It only does that if you enable this toggle for superpowers. And to be clear, even if you let them do that, you still have to confirm their selection before it pushes back to the ledger to protect you from people like Steve, who frankly, I probably just shouldn't have given him that access to begin with. But to show you a couple examples, category. I want this showing up in my accountant dashboard. And if I want the client to be able to change it, I'll make it editable here. Receipts, I'll make them visible and editable for the client. But class, let's say I want to require this from the client, so they'll have to provide that to me every single time now. Again, super useful to customize this by client, not just for classifications, but for getting receipts, classes, locations, all that stuff. Even better, look down here. I can add as many users on the client side as I want for no additional cost. I can associate those users with specific payment methods. So for example, if people have credit cards, just make them do this for their own card. Each user even has their own forwarding email for receipts. So anything that lands in that email address will be routed directly to that user. Man, I had some clients where that monthly Amex bill was like a full-time job, sending stuff out to 20 people that had cards and hounding each of them to get that info back. With Uncat, for no additional cost, Uncat could be hounding them throughout the month automatically to submit all those details, not just when you get the statement. I can be doing that on the fly. For any of these users, I can even add a phone number. If they are email deadbeats, they'll get a text when they need to submit details, and they can even submit receipts via SMS to Uncat. Okay, all right, okay? Okay, that's client settings. Let's look at firm settings. Lots of stuff here. I'll just touch on the fact I can invite as many coworkers as I want, no additional cost. Uncat bills you per client file, not per user. Specific clients can be assigned to specific staff members, and your firm users also just get a magic link email whenever they need to hop in and do something. I can also customize what Uncat looks like, add my logo, change the color so it fits in with the rest of my firm's branding. Now, what you'll find when you get clients into the flow of using this on an ongoing basis is actually a really helpful place to run other types of client questions through, which is where requests come in. So I hit the tab here and come over to requests. Here's an outstanding request I previously set the client, but to create a new request, I just hit this orange button. I enter a title like the main text of the question, and with this request, I can require a text response from the client, a document like a file upload, or both. Again, if they're already using Uncat for uncategorized transactions, this has come through the same way they're managing all that other stuff week over week, including receipts. I mentioned earlier, client users could text receipts in. I'll show you what it looks like to upload a receipt via desktop. This is the client view. They can also email receipts if that's easier, but I'm just gonna drop a file in here and hit save and submit to accountant. Back on the accountant side, here's the receipt they just submitted. I'll hit match to transaction, and look at this little drop down. It extracted the info from the receipt to figure out the transaction that's in the accounting file that receipt is associated with. $1,048 to Reader Bookstore. That's a lot of books, if you think about it. It figured out that was the transaction associated with that receipt. I say match, and that receipt just got pushed to the actual accounting file. Bless! Man, this is solving so many different problems that unfortunately are a little different with each client, right? Well, this client had a bunch of card users. This one's just the business owner. This one needs locations for every transaction. This one, I may always need the receipts for these types of purchases. Uncat is like a sweaty little follow-up machine that is tracking everyone down on your behalf. Imagine the insane scale of cat herding this can do for you, using bank rules to automatically push things to uncategorized expense, routing the right questions to the right users, and never rocking up to a month-end close again without all the receipts, classes, locations, clarifying questions you need to actually get the close done. That info gathering is just happening behind the scenes all the time with your clients, thanks to Uncat. Super, super cool, man. I still love Uncat. Go spin up a trial. You don't even have to put a credit card in, or start by using it internally with your firm to get comfortable with it. Like, that's actually a great way to kind of learn the ins and outs before you start putting it in front of clients. Hey, look to your left, look to your right. You are in a demo day, where I ask you to show me on your firm where it hurts when we explore technology to solve those accounting pains. We do it every week. I like the whole playlist here so you can get back to whatever weird stuff it is you do in your free time when you don't have to work because some tech just saved you a whole bunch of time and you got to go outside for the first time in months and see your family for once.